Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the ICT Educator webinar series. I'm Steve Wright, Statewide Director of the ICT sector team of the Workforce and Economic Development Department of the California Community College System. And these webinars are brought to you by our entire sector team and produced by Nicole Sherman. All of our guest speakers volunteer their time for the sake of student success in our system. On our website now, we have over, I believe it's 61, recorded webinars that our faculty use because they're successful how-to type webinars that are video recorded, edited, transcripted, chapterized with all the PowerPoint information, so you can repurpose them in a lot of different ways. And a lot of people do that. We've had 5,000 views to date, and about 30 to 40% of those are after the real-time event. Today's webinar will be posted in less than a week. So this is going to be our last webinar of the 2021 school year. And today we're going to celebrate that by having Facebook here. And not long ago, I was watching a webinar that was put on by Credly, and Facebook certification programs were the topic. I believe, Leah, you were presenting at that, and a couple of people from Facebook, and I just was so enamored of that, and Leah and I chatted and set up this one for today. So we're going to have an in-depth discussion about Facebook's higher education strategy, learning resources for educators and students, and we'll review the educators portal, which offers content to teach digital marketing to students at all levels, and talk about the Blueprint certification offering. So at first, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but I think we're going to launch with David, correct?
Well, good morning, everybody. Real brief before we jump in to introduce ourselves. Who are we as a team? We are the Facebook Business Education team. We're based all over the world, but you'll hear from us this morning from Chicago and New York. Our goal and our mission as the higher education and business education team at Facebook is really to democratize education for all different audiences. So we support small businesses, students, job seekers, nonprofits, as well as the largest advertisers and media companies in understanding how to use the Facebook ecosystem to drive business and to connect people around the world. So we'll talk to you today a little bit about what we do and a hyper focus on our higher education experiences. So first, just to introduce myself, my name is Dave Vogt. I lead some of our business education programs here at Facebook, as I mentioned, in New York. My background is in digital media strategy and partnerships, and I spent about 6 years prior to my time at Facebook consulting and working with both global and local brands here in the United States on how to navigate the media industry, how to understand what digital channels they should be leveraging to drive their business forward. And here at Facebook, I spent my first half of my time at Facebook working on global agency partnerships, so building connectivity with global agencies on creative strategy, measurement strategies, and investment strategies. I will pass it over to Kristen.
Thanks, Dave. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kristen Beck. I think Dave and I have had a similar experience and background growing up in the digital media space. So I started my career on the publisher side, working at Yahoo, for those of you who remember Yahoo, in account management, and then spent the past 6 years at Facebook on the same side of the coin, working through advertising solutions in North America, and then parlayed that into more of a global strategy area. And uncovering all that, I tapped into my passion, which was educating clients and agencies around the offerings that Facebook can help to drive business, and which led me to where I am today on the business education team with a strong focus and love for the certification field. So with that, I'll let Dave kind of kick off the conversation, and thanks for having us today.
All right. So really quickly, we're going to talk to you briefly about Facebook as a company. And everyone's probably saying, well, I already know what Facebook is as a company, but we'll talk through some things that you might not know about. Higher education strategy and research, and then jumping into the specific opportunities around the educators portal, online content, certifications, and something really exciting, which is connecting learners to jobs in the digital marketing field. Okay, so a quick overview of Facebook. So as I said, everyone, most people know about Facebook and they think of the blue app. And one of the things that's really important as we look at the overall picture of the Facebook ecosystem is, where Facebook has been and where it's going. And this is all underpinned by skill building and jobs of the future, which is obviously really important for students. So in the past, 5-10 years, the Facebook's focus has really been on building out ecosystems, right? So as I said, everybody knows Facebook, the blue app, Instagram. We also have Messenger and WhatsApp as key messaging platforms globally. And that's been the focus, is just building out the infrastructure and the functions and features that support individuals and businesses. Currently, we're shifting into some other areas such as search, groups, and building community has been a really big focus for the company. And that's been really important, especially during the past year. Messaging has exploded in the past 5+ years, and we see astronomical growth, particularly outside of North America, in some of our emerging markets that we work with, including India and Africa, etc. And that's where WhatsApp is a primary focus. And then, of course, there's Facebook Watch, which is really an entertainment and video channel. So we have not only premium content, TV shows that rival some of the best programming on let's say, a Netflix, but it's also a really great video destination for just discovering and exploring video content across all different types of topics. And then as we look towards the future, some of the things that we're working on now, we're sort of planting the seeds on now for the future of these areas, is connectivity. So we have some major infrastructure projects going on, particularly in Africa, where we're building undersea cables to drive connectivity across the region and increase access to high bandwidth internet. And we have services like Free Basics, which is a really exciting project for folks that are just coming onto the internet because data is really expensive in places like Africa. And we offer free services like healthcare access, access to jobs, access to other information that can really help them onboard to the internet and the digital ecosystem. And then just to close out really quickly, programming on AI, VR, and AR. So on the AI front and the VR AR front, we have programs like Spark AR, which is all about developing experiences within the AR community. And then we also have our Oculus product, which many of you might be familiar with, which is that physical headset that you can wear and explore all different types of things, from entertainment to education and everything in between. So what's really, exciting about everything that we just shared and what we're going to talk to you about is really the growth of digital advertising. And is one of the reasons why we're here talking to you guys today. And there's an estimated $250 billion spent every year in digital advertising now, and that's only going to continue as the ecosystems evolve and as we get more immersive experiences into AR and VR. And one of the biggest challenges that's out there in the field today, not just in North America, but really around the world, is filling the skills gap between what employers need in the workplace for their employees to understand and to know and to be able to contribute in the workplace, and what some job seekers, the skills that they have. And so some of what we'll talk about today is helping to bridge that gap through the higher education work and through our certification work. And so just to take that a click deeper into the business education team, as I mentioned before, we support many different audiences, from small businesses, of course, to students and job seekers. And when our team started building out certifications back in 2016, our core focus there was actually on large-scale advertisers and media agencies. And the reason for that was we had to quickly accelerate the knowledge gaps within the professional sphere of digital marketing so that they could keep up with the ever-changing digital platform and Facebook's ad catalogs. And so we launched our certification program with our media buying and media planning certifications, which still exist today. And those are focused on the professional level. And Kristen will talk to you a little bit more about those in a little bit. Into 2021, which is where we are now, we started working with educators and students, right? And so we've shifted, I shouldn't say shifted, but we've added from really just focusing on the professional space to now working with students and professors and job seekers. And so what that's really led us to is what products and solutions do we need to build out to get to that? And two of those things are the higher education program and our digital marketing associate skill certification. So I'll pass over to Kristen and she'll dive more into that.
Thanks, Dave. So as Dave touched upon, a part of that that student and job seeker area, when we built this higher education strategy, we wanted to make sure we encompassed a variety of educators who are teaching across a whole spectrum of higher education. So that includes career and technical education, community colleges, universities, business schools, and then moving on to the next slide, Dave, thank you. The goals of the program was really to provide educators with the most current and accessible relevant content. So knowing that Facebook is one of these largest platforms in the digital marketing space, we wanted to ensure that educators have access to content that is continuously updated. So it kind of shoulders the burden of you all from having to audit and update your content to keep pace with this rapidly changing industry. And secondly, we wanted to support learners from a variety of backgrounds that are ultimately seeking employment with their careers through certification. So the content incorporated into this program prepares students for, as Dave mentioned, Facebook Digital Marketing Associate certification. So that certification will hopefully enable students to, with the means that can give them an opportunity to provide some sort of tangible proof that they acquired skills to gain employment. And then lastly, Facebook supports a career launching opportunity for your learners to help them build that connection with media agencies, digital native companies, small businesses, any type of business that is in need and search of a qualified and diverse talent pool to help support with digital marketing. So the next slide, we'll go over how we developed this program, and nothing's done in a silo. So this program was really developed within our education team in close cooperation with several external educators, as indicated on the slide. Facebook worked with a team of instructors ranging from a variety of schools, from high schools to universities, to help develop content that will help teachers prepare students for roles in digital marketing. The program was piloted in several different schools by over 1,000 educators, and we used that feedback from the pilot to consistently innovate and improve the content as we go on. So we work closely with partners that have a thorough understanding of the needs of educators such as ourselves. So it's not built in it takes a village to kind of get to where we are today, and we're consistently looking for feedback from our partners. Next slide, please, Dave. So what does this program benefit for you all? From an educator's perspective, our intention is that this program holds two important benefits. Foremost, it provides you all with a practical and up-to-date content relating to digital marketing. So while we know it's a fast evolving field, we want to make sure that the content is current, and I know that's a huge challenge for educators. So with the help of Facebook, you can give students access to relevant content that represents how marketers are working today. So from a Facebook perspective, so this benefits students, and it will improve the opportunity, hopefully, to find jobs in the digital space. And then, of course, we recognize that you have your own curriculum. So we designed this program in a modular manner so you can use it to enrich or complement your existing curriculum. The content has several examples, case studies, and projects that allow you to have a practical hands-on perspective for students with this industry. Now, what does this benefit for students? So as Dave kind of tapped into earlier, students around the world have expressed a desire for courses focusing around digital media. So this program allows you all to provide this specific content for your students. We know that students like the opportunity to participate with hands-on practical programs that will hopefully prepare them for real world experiences. And we designed this program to help build up a portfolio so that work can be later shared with potential employers or clients if they decide to go an entrepreneurial route. So that way they can show things like the ads they created, or writing that was tailored to a campaign, or some sort of planning. So that's our intention to build some of these things. Next slide, please. And then finally, we hope our hope was to have support employers in the digital marketing space. So our research also explained that employers really struggle to find a diverse talent pool specific for digital marketing. And that involves a very pool of background and experiences. So employers want to find people that understand digital marketing, but who also have some practical experience. So they're specifically looking for people who have the know-how, who can work with relevant products. So by giving you all access to materials in digital marketing in a scaled way, we hope students can eventually thrive by improving their skill sets and expertise in the specific field, and thereby employers will benefit from a more diverse pipeline for future employees. Moving forward, thanks, Dave. So our educational opportunity has 4 main components. We will go over the content in the educator portal. We'll briefly touch upon the online content that's accessible to students that will help them prepare for a certification. We'll go a little bit deeper into that associate level certification that was designed for this specific program. And then Dave will talk about the capability to connect learner to job opportunities. So at Facebook, our approach is to always build, optimize, and scale. So we're constantly refining with your feedback. And now I'll walk you through each of these components, starting with the content for the educators portal. So moving to the next slide, our portal is designed for educators and provides a comprehensive set of free educational resources. So emphasis on free and instructional materials. We offer 28 lessons, which includes in-class preparation materials, facilitator notes, case studies, and activities that can help support your curriculum. And then next slide. Specifically summarizing this content, it includes lessons and concepts that can be integrated into broader lessons. So the content is bite-sized, making it more customizable. And then the slides we use with our students, inclusive of documents and narratives for educators that support those lessons. So there's worksheets with practical exercises for students, as well as the narratives you need to help in classroom experiences. And then the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about the specific lessons that are included. So it covers a wide range of content related to digital marketing. So it covers topics including the evolution of digital marketing, the use of data and online advertising, tactics to engage and build audiences on Facebook and Instagram, creating and optimizing advertising campaigns, and supporting a strong, which all of these things help support a strong foundational understanding of what it takes to have a career in digital marketing. So, and then one add to all of this, we additionally added a module that discusses privacy and safety, ranging from both like entry level to more sophisticated topics. So it's basically touching upon how to respect privacy when using data in online advertising, knowing that the world we live in right now is kind of going that direction. So we want to prevent the misinformation online. Next slide. And then if you recognize any gaps, or you think that there's something that you would like to add when you, if you use the portal, we're always looking for suggestions on what extra content we should be building. Feedback is a gift at Facebook. So there's some things we have already done, and we know that we don't know everything, and there's a lot to learn. So we encourage those participants to tell us what you need that's missing. So now we'll go in a little bit of detail around what's available online for students. Facebook also has a free e-learning material that's roughly 6 to 8 hours worth of content, depending upon how students learn at their own pace. There's many courses for students to choose from, and a series of more in-depth lessons online that students can use to prepare for certification specifically. So the courses that we have are used for in-person teaching, have links with these e-learning courses. So you can refer students to the relevant study material if they want to become more proficient and have that certification to help tie them to it. specifically talking about how Facebook can help that foundational level of marketing. So that all these materials will help support the certification online. And all these can be accessed through facebook.com/business/learn. So for the students, Facebook provides a really robust library of e-learning content, and the whole experience can be, it's intended to be more of a blended learning experience, specifically for those who want to obtain that certification. So to access that, students would need to just use the URL listed above. And since the program is focused on practical exercises, the students can get some actual experience using the tools. It would also help for students to access this for Facebook during the classroom. So it allows them to access advertising platforms and practice creating, optimizing advertising. Now on to my favorite topic, which is the certification details. But to provide a little bit greater picture, the next slide will show our entire portfolio of certifications. While this particular program focuses on the digital marketing associate, or that entry-level certification, that is really the foundation to kind of pave the way for several different offerings that we have from a certification standpoint. These all kind of hone in on competencies in varying levels and career fields, but at the associate level cert, it's specifically designed for those entry-level marketers or anyone who's looking to switch careers or get a job seeker. So we hope then further down the line, earners can progress into more of our professional certifications, maybe diving into that media buying professional or creative strategy. We offer a marketing science certification, and then more complex on the marketing developer side of the house. And then Dave's going to touch upon other opportunities that are built on top of these certification requirements, going into the train the trainer network, which he'll go into a little bit more detail later. And then we're starting to also delve into specialist badges. So it's like taking these certifications as a foundational requirement and then tapping into a specific vertical or subject matter that is more specialized, that builds off of these existing certifications. So once learners have passed the exam, they can they can add their badge to their LinkedIn profile to show some sort of tangible proof that they obtained these skills. We see them share them on platforms like Facebook and Twitter. People share them on WhatsApp. Since it's a digital credential, they can share it all over the place. Next slide, please. So more details within the portal can be found in the icon briefcase on the homepage if you have access to the portal in and of itself. So this kind of goes into a little bit more detail around what the certification entails. So we partner with Pearson VUE to deliver our proctored exams. So we're looking for ways to enable you as educators to also proctor for your students. So hopefully that can be rolled out with you if you want to act as proctor for your students. Next slide, please. So this is a snapshot of what what our online resources look like from a certification standpoint. This is our current stack to date that showcases all of our certifications. And these include things like e-learning courses, study guides, a practice test, and soon to be instructor-led training. And all of these are built to be resources to help be a stepping stone for the certification. And from the digital marketing associate side, our exams are 60 questions, multiple choice. They are people have roughly 90 minutes to take the exam. We see that people typically complete that exam in much less time, so the pressure's kind of off, but it is that proctored, more rigorous experience that helps them showcase, like, at the end of the day, they've achieved this goal. So we offer these for all of our exams, but specifically for this program, we are focused all of the materials around that associate level certification specific to digital marketing. And if you have any questions, feel free to ping me in the chat. But for now, I'll pass it off to Dave, who's going to discuss additional programs that derive from our certification efforts.
Thanks, Kristen. So yeah, as you saw, we have a bunch of certifications, and we also have a credential that is the Facebook Certified Trainer Badge. And this program is really interesting because it actually derived from the need to scale up trainings beyond the physical footprint of Facebook teams and Facebook offices. And this program has evolved over the past 2 years. And really what it is it's a way for us to credential folks to be a certified trainer to deliver trainings within their communities on behalf of Facebook. And so this is could be a great opportunity for students to engage with their community, with small businesses or with nonprofits that they either currently support or want to support. And so how does it work? First and foremost, we use our certifications to test the competency on Facebook product knowledge. So all the certifications that Kristen just took you through is how we gauge a potential trainer's Facebook product competency, whether it's on media buying or media planning, or if it's on the digital skills side. And so the first piece there is that they get certified. After they get certified, they attend a workshop that we used to be in person, but now we do that online. And that's focused on facilitation and delivery skills, understanding the Facebook way and how we teach folks to leverage our products and our solutions. And during that workshop, there's a lot of hands-on work, and they actually use Facebook content and do exercises to understand how to deliver, how to teach, and how to facilitate. And at the end of that, they do a teach back, which we evaluate based on a set of criteria, and we determine if they are eligible for the Facebook certification badge. Once they become a Facebook certified trainer, what they unlock, similarly to the higher education portal, is a content hub that's geared with materials for different audiences, including small businesses and nonprofits. Currently, we have our lead trainer badge, which is focused on more advanced content delivery, and we're rolling out over the next couple of months a digital marketing associate trainer badge and a community manager associate trainer badge for folks that want to focus in on our community management audience. So just to close out, Kristen talked to you about the content for the educators portal, the opportunities for students, and then the certification, digital marketing associate certification. So we just want to close the loop here and talk about connecting learners to jobs, because ultimately that's what this is all about. And so we know that obviously there's a massive skills gap out there within the digital media space and what employers are looking for. But we also know that there's a salary premium for folks that are looking for entry-level jobs and have these skills. And so applying for a job with a credential within the digital media space is definitely something that students want to achieve, and it's something that employers are looking for. And so we've been working, our team has been working on this program for over a year now. And basically what the purpose of this is to create partnerships with employers, right? So if you look on the right here, you'll see a couple of logos. Some of them you may be familiar with, like a Procter & Gamble, and maybe some of them not as familiar, but some of these are your online tech born and bred companies like Casper Air Mattress, for example, or Casper Mattress. And so we've worked with these partners, and there's an ever-growing list of employers that are looking to hire this talent. And so how it works is obviously we support the learners through the certification program, as we've just discussed. And once they get certified, they'll be able to connect with these employer partners by sharing their resumes and their credentials. And essentially the benefit here for the employer is they're getting a pre-selected group of students and potential employees that have the specific skills that they're looking for, whether it's the digital marketing skills or it's one of our more professional level certifications. And so this program, this connection between students and our employer partners will be rolling out at the end of this month. So once we have that launch, we will definitely communicate that with you all.
That's phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah.
And all the training that you've outlined here, I know you got more to say here, but I just can't help myself. really a wonderful array of certifications at different levels. I like the trainer ones too. It almost sounds like a freelance opportunity for somebody to become a trainer and go around contract ed or whatever, teaching companies what they employees what they need to do. Great.
Yeah, exactly. So just to close out really quickly, so to get engaged with the educators portal and to find all of these resources, you can scan the QR code here, or you can simply go to educator.facebookblueprint.com. And that's it. So thank you all very much.
Now we'll pass it off to John to discuss a little bit more about his experience.
A little bit about me. I'm a high school teacher. I teach a group of seniors last year this curriculum on an articulated course for the college, right? So these were introduction to business students who were all, like, I would say out of 36 students, about 32 of them were probably headed to the community college system. And so I saw the curriculum at first and I was like super excited about it because it was like, you know, the content was amazing, right? I had never seen such beautiful slides from any curriculum provider ever, right? With the speaker notes, I was like so excited to teach this stuff. I thought the students, like, this couldn't go wrong because the students just are going to love this curriculum, right? It's social media stuff that they already have a lot of experience and interest in, and it's just so beautifully put together. And then I started to present the slides, and you know, unfortunately, maybe it's me, but as is typical, students kind of lose interest in presenting the slides. And then it got even worse because then we went to the Zoom, and you know, I've got all these kids blacked out, and I'm trying to teach these kids. Even though it's interesting curriculum, they just, you know, for whatever reason, right, it's hard to connect with students on Zoom. So what I decided to do was, hey, I'm going to use our own store on campus, our Spiritware store, and I'm going to allow our students to promote our store, right, using the Facebook and Instagram, you know, curriculum, and actually have them create a real campaign. And you know, we got access to the store, and I created a Facebook account and had a whole program, and the kids actually sold our Spiritware using a campaign that we ran together as a class. And so what I did first is I had the groups, you know, there's about 36 students in the class or so, so it's like 9 groups, and they all came up with their own idea for a funnel for how they were going to, you know, create a marketing campaign. And sorry, this says awareness phase, but it should really say marketing funnel, right? Because in the awareness phase, right, so they all came up with their different ideas, and this is the winning idea. They all pitched their different ideas to the whole class, and then the whole class had the opportunity to, you know, vote on which ones they liked the best, and that's the one we used, right? And so the first phase, you know, the one that won, they said in the awareness phase, you know, we're just going to post some pictures on getting people to know that, you know, we're selling Spiritware online. And then the consideration phase we would post photos on social media asking people, are the person in the picture, is that a Carlmont Scott? So that's our school, we're the Carlmont Scots, or not, right? And then people would, you know, guess, like, you know, yes or no. And so they all made little polls on their little Instagram posts and everything. And then the final phase would be the conversion phase. And what we would do for that one is have a BuzzFeed quiz that had all of these different pictures, some of them which we'd shown before, of people with masks on, and people would guess, are they a Carlmont Scott or not? And if they went through the quiz, no matter how you did, you actually got a coupon for a Spiritware package. So this was actually the winning entry, but what I did is I created like a set of Google Slides, and each group created their own, you know, Facebook page, what they would want to do. And this is 3 of the students. They made their own pictures, and they came up with the name Carlmont Student Business Money Moves with Monty, kind of a obnoxious name, but that's high school kids for you. And then they also made a, you know, an Instagram account too. And, you know, that was the winning picture for the Instagram account, has our mascot with a bunch of money floating in the background. And so I noticed that the students were sort of struggling with creating nice pictures. And, you know, they all had phones. They were just using it on their iPhones. And I always, you know, drive down the freeway. I don't know if you've seen those billboard signs, but these billboard signs always say, like, you know, this photo was taken with an iPhone. So I was thinking, like, wow, maybe I could get a photographer to come in and talk to my students and help them make even more professional looking photos with just their with just their iPhones or their cell phones. And so I had a friend who was a photographer come in and talk to the students about a couple different apps. Two of them that she went over was Snapseed and Quick, which were great. They were awesome. They had so many. I'm not a photographer myself, but I learned a whole lot about filters and the golden hour, when to take photos, and lighting. And so it really helped the students. It was a great kind of mini lesson within it too. And of course, with Zoom these days, it's so easy to get people to come and talk to the students. It was an awesome opportunity for the students to learn more about how to take professional pictures. And of course, some of the curriculum has some pointers about professional pictures as well, like the rule of thirds and other things to help with amateur photographers like myself. So these are some of the awareness posts that they actually did for both Facebook and Instagram. Some of them were videos, and some of them were, just flat photos. And they all, went through the awareness phase and posted all those videos. And then this is what some of the consideration phase photos or stories look like. And again, these are some of our poor teachers. They were very nice to volunteer to wear the mask and take a picture. And then the students are very, very, very adept at creating some interesting posts with all the little tools that they have. And then here's a look at the conversion phase. Again, it was a BuzzFeed quiz. There's our principal who's wearing a mask, and you were going to guess if that was a Scott or not. That's actually a math teacher's dog, who did a Scott or not as well. So you went through the BuzzFeed quiz, and at the end of the BuzzFeed quiz, then there was a link that you can see here that was, gave you an option to buy a discounted Spiritware package. So we set this all up in Creator Studio. And I don't know if you've used Creator Studio before, but it's a way for many people. So I put all of the students, I created an account for every student in the class to have an account with this Creator Studio, and they could all post all of their posts into the Creator Studio beforehand. So it allows you to schedule all your posts for however long you want to do it. And there's, you can see it's highlighted on Facebook here, and then you could also schedule all your posts in Instagram. So all the students preloaded all of their posts. I could see all their posts before they went live, you know what I mean? And we looked at all those and made sure we like them. And it's really easy to use, right? The students and myself, are all had no issues with it, right? You just click this little plus button to add in your media, right? And you have an option to doing videos or share a photo and that kind of stuff. And then again, you just choose schedule instead of publish. And when you choose schedule, you just create a publication date, put in the calendar and the time there. It's really simple to use, but a really powerful tool to enable you to have everybody post onto the same Facebook and Instagram accounts, which was our Carl Mont Student Business account. And then, we looked at Ads Manager. I actually didn't let them all get into Ads Manager because I was a little concerned about, them posting or running a campaign that we couldn't afford. But I still spent a couple $100 on promoting their posts just so we could see how it goes and see which posts did the best. And so we went through it as a class and chose an audience, right, and excluded and included different areas. It was a great opportunity. I think there's also an opportunity here that I'll probably do next year is have maybe a simulation where I could create a spreadsheet or something that allows the same options for them to choose an audience that would be very similar to Ads Manager, but that was a great experience for them as well. And then we actually saw the results, like what their reach was and how many impressions they hit and their cost per result. So, we could look at all the groups and see how they had done. And, I was hoping that I actually didn't do it at the end, but I was hoping to give them grades based on their actual results. Like, oh, you only hit like, 13 impressions, right? Or, your reach wasn't as strong, but I couldn't figure out the algorithm for why Facebook was choosing to use some posts other than others. I think it was because, I was hoping it was because they, some were getting better traction and better click-through rate and all that. And so they were posting them some more. But I need to look more into that and figure that out as well. But the students were actually able to see their results and how their ads actually ran. And when we started this promotion in October and ended in the promotion in February, we saw a huge uptick in our sales of spiritware. I mean, our spiritware sales were very low because we didn't have any students on campus, and we were selling them online, but nobody knew we were selling them online. And so, it was while we didn't make hundreds of thousands of dollars, we certainly made thousands of dollars, and the students could see that their results actually had a big impact on overall sales. And then not only that, the students wrote a nice story in the online edition of our newspaper about the Spiritware challenge that we did using the Facebook sales, the Facebook interface, and it was, there was a couple quotes from some of my students as well. So, it seems to me that students had a very great time doing sort of a project-based learning experience using the wonderful Facebook curriculum that you guys have. So that's my last slide. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions, or if you guys want to move on to the next thing in the agenda, either one's fine with me.
That was terrific. John, so do you have any more room in your class for like slightly older people?
Yeah, I only teach at the high school level, so I'm sorry I can't, there are limitations, but it is, I actually think it is, with the dual enrollment, I think actually people can sign up for it, but when they realize that they sign up for a high school class, I think they opt out, but we'd love to have you if we could.
That's good. I think you really showed and that part at the beginning where you show the kids getting bored. I mean, I don't know how people overcome that. I mean, my hat's off to any faculty member who can engage students, and you did an excellent job there. Because I just combines the business and everything, and it's high school students. I don't know. That's terrific.
Thank you.
All right, let's look at some of these questions here. Does anybody have any questions about, well, I do. If I'm at a college right now and I decide I want to include this in my program, I've already got a marketing type program, something like that. It sounds to me like I just go to the portal and start grabbing some curriculum and start training them with the idea that they would take the certification test. Now, where do they take the certification test? Is that done through Pearson VUE or online, or how does that happen?
That's a great question, Steve. So right now, depending upon where people are located, everyone has accessibility to take the exams online in the comfort of their own home. And then depending upon where they're located, due to COVID restrictions, there are opportunities for people to take exams at Pearson testing centers all throughout the globe. But it just depends right now on the state of the world that we're in. But I would highly encourage you to take it at home. I think you have the opportunity to, there's 24 hours in a day, you can carve out the time that you need in the space that you need. So yeah, that's our options today.
And then like the traditional Credly or formerly Acclaim type of situation, they able to get a digital badge for this and put it on their LinkedIn profile? Exactly.
We see extraordinarily high acceptance rates for our certifications, and people love to share it all across the internet. LinkedIn's the crowd favorite, but we also see people sharing it in Twitter, in their email signatures, WhatsApp, Messenger, Facebook, you name it.
Yeah, that was one of the interesting things I learned from Credly when they started doing the analysis of who shares what and where they share it. And I didn't realize there was such a strong social media, look what I got kind of feeling that goes with these digital badges. And so that's a lot of momentum out of that. That's good. But
yeah, if you don't share it online, it didn't happen, Steve. You gotta get it out there.
Absolutely. And I think so this the part you talked about matching to jobs, what do you think? What do you project? I know it's a lot of this yet to come. What kind of companies are going to use that service? What kind of entry-level jobs will they be looking at? Are we looking at just retreading older marketing people who already know stuff? Or are we actually looking at entry level for people who just are out of community college?
Yeah, it's definitely a mix. So some of the initial partners that we signed on, like Procter and Gamble, for example, right? They're your bread and butter sort of CPG company. Then we have your sort of digital native companies, as we call them, right? Your Casper Mattress, your Smile Direct Club. Those companies were born in the digital space. And then, one of the newer partners that we've just brought on board is actually my former employee, which is Dentsu, which is one of the big 6 media companies globally, right? So you've got a good mix of, you know, large global companies, CP in the CPG space, your digitally natives, and then your media and advertising agencies. And I think, you know, I think they'll be looking over time across the spectrum for entry level to more advanced. And that's where some of our higher level certifications will come into play. But I think at the launch, it's going to be primarily focused on the sort of more entry junior level roles.
Now, if you were to imagine a small or medium company, and I've talked to them before, and I talk about these kinds of skills, and they say, oh, if I had somebody that could do all that, they throw in a few other things like update our website, do this, that, and the other, but a lot of responsibilities because they just don't know how to do it. Take your typical company that does maybe bathroom remodels, and they got they might have 50 employees, and they have significant size, and they show up in a lot of nice magazines or whatever, but they don't have anybody that does this. Is there a template for a job description for small to medium companies that might include these skills and some others that we could kind of use it as a model to start thinking about what kind of skills that we train people in who want to seek this kind of employment in a mid-sized company?
So, and Kristen and Leah jump in here, but I think the answer is we don't directly have a job description, but what we do have is the skill sets that are developed for each of our certifications. We do have a description that's found not just on our website, but also within the badge itself. So when you click on the digital badge that the student would receive, it actually displays what are the skills that this student was tested on and their capabilities, right? That they would essentially be able to perform in a job. So you could essentially take that same information and just, you know, drop that into a job description.
Yep, spot on, Dave.
Yeah, we of course deal with employers who say, yeah, I need that, and I also need that. And I was just wondering if anybody had done the work on that, because it's a combination of skills, really. It's a new kind of evolving workforce need. And a lot of our employers don't even know what it is they're looking for. They just want it done. You know, they used to have the idea they could just hire a college student, it would magically happen. Now they're realizing they actually have to be trained in it. It's good. All right. I think we're on the right path here. Let's see what kind of questions we have here. Daniel Donnelly is asking about grants or funding that can be used to recruit faculty to begin using this. Do you have any kind of faculty assistant grant or stipend type thing that helps people adopt new curriculum? Or I mean, I think it's wonderful you put out everything you have, but you know, it's a question.
So I'm not entirely sure that I understand the question. Are you just asking if there's like any incentives to use it, or?
It'd be an incentive, or, you know, sometimes faculty need to take time to develop curriculum or include something, and they take, you know, in lieu of teaching another class or something like that. If there was a stipend or something, it might smooth it out, but it's
Gotcha. Yeah, we don't currently offer that. I mean, we can definitely take that back to the team and, you know, see if there's any opportunities for that.
But it does trigger the thought, I believe, when I was talking to Leah, you have some scholarships or whatever to help students. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Kristen, you want to take that one?
Yes, sure. So we recently rolled out a program called Elevate, which is intended and built for individuals who are seeking from Black and Latinx communities that are looking to have continued education in the digital space. So we are offering scholarships and training material and courses for that audience. It is relatively newly launched. So we had our first our online training session with them, and the way that it works is like with enrollment and proper course preparation, we will then provide the vouchers needed to take our certification exams, and then in tune connect them with our job board. So it's something that was recently rolled out with this team, with our team, and we're still kind of learning as we go, so to speak.
I see that has been posted. Leah's posted the link to that in our chat box right here. That's good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Leah.
That grant fund then is primarily to offset the cost of the certification exam. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct. Given that all of our training materials are free, the only real cost affiliated with it is that exam fee. So we wanted to take that away from the audience.
Is it a same fee for all certifications, or do you have structured fees, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our associate level certifications are $99 per exam. And that means each time you take the exam, whether you pass or not, you have to pay that fee. And then our professional level certifications are at 150 USD.
And these vouchers, is that 100% or 50%, or what are they?
100% covered.
Okay, so that's worth going after. You know, we do find out, because we look at a lot of certification programs and IT and everything else. And when you take a student and even if you put them in a community college with very low tuition, and you take them down this path of certifications, it starts to add up. And there's books and there's little prep courses, and then I forgot everything I learned. I need to really take a crash course right now. And then there's the exam fee, and after a while you're like, well, it costs some money. So everything helps. That's good. So we look forward to checking that out. And we have lots of diverse students in the California Community College system.
One thing, just to build on that, because I think it's important, and Kristen did cover it, but all of the learning materials are free, right? And so there's we have hundreds of free e-learning courses that anybody anywhere can access for free. Each of the certifications also has a free practice test that's available for free. And there's also study guides. So there's definitely a ton of resources that are open and free. The one thing that does have that price tag is the certification exam itself.
Okay, for an upskilling adult midlife in any career, decides that, gee, that's going to look good on my LinkedIn profile, what's the time commitment to get something professional, get it done?
That's a great question. I think what we've typically seen from the data today is for our professional level certifications from the media side of the house, we see the preparation range from 8 to 10 hours worth of work to prepare for that certification. And then for some of the more complex topics like our marketing science that's really focused towards measurement and analytics, statistics, it can take a little bit more time. But ultimately, what we do see is that people who go through every bit of that curriculum that Dave outlined, whether it's the e-learning courses, the study guides, and the practice tests, they're more likely to pass. And then additionally, we see the on average, the time of where an individual starts preparing to the time they actually book the exam is roughly 30 days. So that's how people just kind of learn as they go, but typically it's like a month time span.
Well, that's a nice small bite for somebody to get something on their LinkedIn profile that says, I may be an old dog, but I can learn new tricks. And that's a real advantage as you get, like me, past 30, and so that's helpful. Other questions out here? Looking quickly through these. If anybody sees something I'm not catching, let me know. All right, well, that's good. I like this. And we're wrapping up now. Anybody want to go live, verbal with a question, ask, comment? All right, well, our speakers have any final comments you'd like to make before we say goodbye?
Oh, just thank you so much for this opportunity. It was really great getting to speak with everyone and hearing the comments in the thread. So we really appreciate this opportunity.
Well, and I'm just so pleased because, I kind of went from a month ago going, what? They have certifications, to this now, and I'm so glad to be able to share it. So after this, it's of course recorded, edited, transcripted. We put it out, and then Nicole will include a note in our next newsletter saying, wow, you really missed it. And then we'll get a whole bunch of people tune in after that to see it. I think this is a great application for the California Community College system, and I hope we take full advantage of it. And thank you all, seriously, for being such a good corporate citizen that you take the time to develop something like this. And we'll do everything we can to make it happen. All righty, if there's nothing else, then let's thank our guests, and we'll all be off to our next Zoom call. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.